Comment came in around the concerns of marketing, advertising for the software that we're using to get an edge in our portfolio. And it's coming from an area of concern. And in today's video, I'd like to address this area of concern because if one person's thinking it, I'm sure many others are. So let me settle the scores once and for all. Welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name is Matt Jimenez. I'm an entrepreneur who has worked with the greatest minds in finance over the last several years, and I'm here to pour into you guys everything they pour into me. And in today's video, I want to address a specific comment that came in on a video, and this comment asked this. This comment is from The Wealthy Dancer, and it came in on a video regarding Jeff Seckinger's mom, Judy, and me going over her results on her MyFX book and tracking her software. And the comment said this: she did average 3.5% month for 2024. That's only a third of the results Jeff is advertising. You can see that last 12 months, the algorithm isn't giving you the wild gains as it did in the beginning of 2023. I think you should address this change in the performance in your next video. I bet many people are wondering, is it the algorithm or is it the market? At this pace, another 6 months from now, it will drop to 1% a month, which will be comparable to what REITs are paying out anyway. Thanks for the videos, man. Really appreciate them. The focal points of this statement is that he believes that the software is going to continue underperforming, eventually resulting in results so little that he could find the yield in REITs. And if you don't know what REITs are, it is essentially your way to be exposed to real estate performance without actually owning any of the properties. Secondly, his concern was, how can you advertise X amount when this person only did X amount? In this case, we're speaking on Jeff's mom's account, which is called Judy's Big Fed Bot. He's saying the average amount for Judy's monthly performance is 3.5%. Meanwhile, the advertisement were 10%. First, I'd like to address these in the opposite order. So first, let's talk about the averages. Now, I will go over the definition of how to calculate an average because it is very important for you to understand how to do that in order to understand the rest of this video. So an average equals the sum of all values divided by the number of values. Let me explain that. So let's say that you have 10 people, all of which have different monthly averages. And let's say the averages range from 2% to 20%. So in order to find the average here, you would add up all 10 people's averages and then divide that number by the sum of all averages. So once you add up all the numbers, let's say that you get a grand total of 30%. You would take this 30% and divide it by 10 because we're doing it amongst the average of 10 people. So 30 divided by 10 would get you equal to your value of an overall average. This is how averages are calculated. This is how MyFX book tracks everything. And this is how we have done surveys to get our averages. Now let's go over a few different charts here that would help me illustrate what it looks like across a board of averages to find the average of 10%, 8%, 13%, whatever it is. And remember, when it comes to averages, averages are a continual moving scale. So while an average over the span of 12 months or 24 months might be 10%, let's say as time continues to go on, as it would, now the scale may change because instead of it being weighed over 12 or 24 months, it becomes 48 months, 72 months, and so forth. This is how averages are affected. The longer time horizons, the more variables and inputs you have into an average would ultimately changes the percentage. Now, mind you, back to his main point of saying hers was 3.5%, which I will show in just a moment. Again, the average here, what most people say is in the last X amount of months, let's say 4 months, 6 months, or heck, even a year, the average was lower. When you look at the whole lifespan of an account, the average tends to be higher. Now, why is that? And which one is more validating? Well, the one that's more validating, which one would you say logically? Would it be on a shorter time horizon or would it be on a longer time horizon? Let me give another example. Let's say that my weight fluctuates from 170 to 180 over the span of 5 years. But in the last 1 year, in the last 12 months, my weight fluctuated from 180 to 190. Which one, from a logic standpoint, would you say is more likely of an average for me to continue forward? Would it be the data of 5 years of tracking my weight or the data of 12 months of tracking my weight? I'll let you go ahead and answer that. But I know me, logically speaking, I would like to know the average over a longer time horizon rather than a shorter. So now with all of that being addressed of how to find an average and what average is more appropriate to look at, was it the longer time horizons or the shorter time horizons? Let's look at what the data shows us across some of my accounts, some other accounts, and the account that he's speaking on. Okay, so here is my FedBot $50,000 account, which I started technically in October, but realistically, the whole active trading started in November because it was late October. But anyways, the video is not on my software. It is just going over my monthly average. My monthly average has been 3.5%. Now, mind you, the importance of what I'm about to say right here will be the efficacy going forward of what is appropriate here. Every single account has a different risk management setting. So some people might have it very aggressive and some people might have it very low in terms of risk. And this changes the average. This is why I'm saying the efficacy into tracking an average is very straightforward. While some people like myself have a 3.5% monthly average, some people have a 15% average. Some people have a 10% average. It's an average. It's never an ultimate. And the ethics behind it is making sure that we're covering every single person from the 1% monthly earner to the 15% monthly earner. And that's what keeps it morally correct. And that's what keeps it transparent. So yes, mine is 3.5 here. Let's actually look at some other accounts really quick. Over here is the one that Jeff has. And I'm sure most of you, if you've seen any of our advertisements online, the monthly average is changing because data is always changing. Like I said, averages are a moving scale, never an ultimatum. So when we shoot content and content comes out, in that current moment, it may be X, but by the time you see it, it has probably changed, maybe even to the upside. So in this case, as you can see, the monthly average here is still 10%. Now let's go ahead and check out another trading software. This is the Dalio. This is Jeff's account. Again, the monthly average here is 18%. So would it make sense for me to say, well, this one did 18%. So now if the average is 18% here across the board, it needs to be 18%. No. The average on this individual account is 18%, but the average on multiple individual accounts is varied. So that's why we come up with the reasoning behind finding the average for over 2,000 users. In fact, I think the number is probably crossing 3,000. And by the time you watch this, it might already be over 3,000 users. Now let's go over to our Circle community really quick and look at this guy's performance. 4 months manual trading using Fed. Hey everyone, just thought I'd share my manual trading results. This is just from me trading GBP USD manually based on the trades the Fed takes. Max drawdown of these trades was 12%. So this guy, in his case, is copying what the software is doing manually. So he's doing double the work. He's having the software run and then he's mimicking the trades in his own personal manual account. And again, none of this and anything that I ever say is financial advice or some type of direction that you should take. This is solely for educational purposes and information and, most of all, entertainment. Now let's go ahead and look at his monthly performance. So his monthly performance, mimicking what the Fed bot is doing, is very skewed. As you can see, 1 month he lost money and all the other months he's done from 37% to 10%. So his average would be grabbing all of those, then divide it by the sum of values here, which is 5, and then you would have his monthly average. Unfortunately, he doesn't show what that monthly average is, but you could see over the last 5 months, he's had a pretty spectacular performance. Okay, so here's another guy. This is Daniel, 4.78% day. June, he's already at 5%. Let's go ahead and click this. I want to zoom into his monthly average. So his monthly average is 14.62%. Now again, this is his individual monthly average. This is not everyone's. An average, like I said, is using all the accounts. Let's see if I just scroll on here if I could find anyone else. Okay, so here we are. This person, nice. This is Wayne. May finished up well, broke 100K for 2024 this week. Thank you, Nurp. 9 months with Nurp, 144K total. Started really slow and added the gold GLD. So he added another software. This is the Gold Digger software. And if you don't know what that is, this link will bring you to the video I made addressing the Gold Digger. And his performance so far this month, his average, again, this is the average, is 10.93%. This year, he's already done 52%. That is crazy considering it's only June. Let's see if there's any others. Okay, so here we are. Here's another. Let's zoom in over here and look at their average as well. Okay, so their average is 7.5%. So as you can see, everything is varying, but overall, as most people notice, the averages vary depending on users because they're adjusting the risk. Now, addressing his point, Judy's account was 3.5%. Judy's risk settings are far less aggressive than Jeff's settings, but that does not mean Judy's performance is the next person's performance, nor does that mean Jeff's performance is the next guy's performance. Everything is varied and everything is dependent on how you set your software up. But overall, the average is 10%. Let's just scroll a little bit more. Okay, so this person looks like 4.32% for May. Euro CHF sequence closed out today to lift it. May try to add some more manual trades next month to reach 10%. Let's look at his average. His average is 4.10%. Okay, now I'd like to go back to the Judy account, which is Jeff's mom's account, which he was addressing, see how she did. Okay, so when he addressed this exact account, it was at 3.5% monthly average. It already has changed by basically double. Her monthly average now is 6.38%. As you can see, the monthly averages are moving scales and they're always ever changing. And to the first point that he made, is the performance of the software going to diminish over time or improve over time? And well, while past performance does not indicate future performance, I will say this: the team is growing, the team is getting better. We are only adding more and more features, and our quant department is extremely smart when it comes to critiquing softwares, coding, and in fact, dabbling into the machine learning and AI space quite soon here. So my prediction, again, this is not a guarantee and this is not financial advice. This is solely educational. My prediction is that I believe the performance is only going to improve with the software only becoming more and more sophisticated and more minds working on making the softwares the best that they could possibly be. So no, I don't believe that REITs will be the average performance of the software. I believe that the average performance of the software is going to remain where it is, but only go higher because we're only getting better. Now, if you found any entertainment out of this, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. But more importantly, if you want to know how you can license one of these softwares, hit the link in the descriptions or in the comments. And I'd love to see you on the other side, maybe in the Circle community with all the other winners. Like always, my friends, peace.